If you bought a recorder, then have no fear. Yeah. Recorder Corner is here. Hey there, third grade. Welcome back to another week of Recorder Corner. Hope you guys had some fun with your song last week, our new song, Chatter with the Angels. But before we get to that, let's actually warm up with our notes a little bit. Let's show our notes. Let's not play. Let's just show them first. Show me B. Add a finger. What note is that? A. Very good. Add another finger. What note is that? G. Very good. Okay. Two more from your other hand. What note is that? It's E. Very good. Now, our newest note, one more finger. One note below E. It is D. Very good. Here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes that we have. Let's try to play all of them. Listen. Remember, you have to sort of open up your throat a little bit, lower your jaw just a little bit to get those low notes out there, and change your air to make that sound just right. Also, don't forget that that hole you're covering with low D is actually 2 holes, and you got to cover both of them, not just one, so you have to use a little bit more of that finger. And the hard part is, this is probably your weakest finger, because this is everyone's weakest finger, okay? So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes. And the song that we learned last week that used all 5 of these notes was Chatter with the Angels. Before we get to Chatter with the Angels, though, let's actually just warm up with the song. Let's, how about the Yankee Boatman's Chanty? That's a good one. Let's start with the Yankee Boatman's Chanty. Starts on E. It has a lot of our lower notes in this one. Here we go. Let's just play it. Ready? Great. If you can play that song, Chatter with the Angels, it's a little trickier because it's got our new note in it, but it is kind of like Yankee Boatman's Chanty. Pretty repetitive. There are some parts that come back over and over again. All right, here we go. Chatter with the Angels. Let's sing through it first and move our fingers. Let's sing and move our fingers. Here we go. Watch. G, 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 E, D, 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 E, G, 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 E, D, B, A, G. Now, is that the end? Don't forget, there is a repeat. So once you're done, you're not really done. You got to play it 2 times in a row. So let's try it 2 times in a row this time. Ready? G, 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 E, D, 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 E, G, 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 E, D, B, A, G. Then we repeat. G, 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 E, D, 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 E, G, 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 E, D, B, A, G. This time I'm going to play it. I just want you to move your fingers along with me. Don't play, just move your fingers. Here we go. How did it go? How did it go? Were you able to move your fingers along with me? Think you're ready to play it? Let's try it together. Here we go. Ready? How did it go? Hopefully it went really well. Get those low notes really sounding good. Make sure you have those flat fingers. Make sure you change your air so it comes out really nice. And don't forget, if you want to send me a video in that flip grid and that link below, I can give you some feedback and make it sound even better, hopefully, okay? Now, we now know 5 notes. We know B, A, G, E, and D. For this week, what I'd like you to do, now that we know 5 notes, let's actually, well, see if you can come up with your own song. You know where they live. Well, let's go over it really quick. You know where the notes live. You can actually write out your own song using the Weebly site. I have that blank staff paper on there. Let's review where they go. First of all, we got our treble clef. Remember how we draw that? I showed you last week. I'll show you one more time. Straight line. Make it a P. Make it a G around the second line. And give it a little tail. One more time. Straight line. make it a P, make it a G, round the second line, straight tail. Okay. Now, where do our notes live? Do you remember? I hope by now you do. Every good burger deserves fries and F-A-C-E, face. Okay? B, second line. A, second space. G, second line. I think I may have said second line for that. I think I meant third line. It's early. Cut me some slack, okay? Where are we? Oh, yes. E. E is way down on the first line. And finally, our new note D. Well, that's not on a line or in a space. It's actually below the first line, way down there. We've got B, A, G, E, D. What I want you to do is actually make up your own song using these notes. Now, here's a way to make it sound great. You got 4 lines on your staff paper. You got 4 staffs to write on. Here's a way to do it. Make sure you have a low D, this note right here, in every phrase. It's a good way to practice it too. But also make sure that the very last note of your song is G. If you use these notes and follow those rules, you'll actually have a song that sounds pretty good, I think. Some of your phrases can be the same. You don't have to have different phrases each time. That's not how Chatter with the Angels is. That's not how Yankee Boatman's Chanty is, okay? So you can do that, okay? So make up a song, and then if you want to share it with me, again, Flipgrid, you know how to do it. Send it to me. I'd like to actually hear it and give you some feedback on it, all right? Now, for next week, we have a new note that we're going to learn. And I'm going to tell you the name of our new note. Our new note is D. Wait a minute. Isn't the other note we just learned also D? What am I talking about? Have I officially lost my mind? Maybe. But no, I actually haven't about this. D was our note before, and D is our new note as well. But they actually are different notes. Say a word. Octave. Have you heard that word before? Hopefully you have. An octave is 8 steps. And in music, when you go 8 steps, you go an octave. If you go up 8 steps, you go up an octave. If you go down 8 steps, you go down an octave. And whenever you go an octave, something really cool happens. Whatever you started on, if you go up an octave, you end up on a higher version of that note you started on. If you start up and you go down 8 steps, go down an octave, you end up on a lower version of whatever note you started on. So this note here, D, we could actually call low D. And I have called it that a couple times. Our new note isn't low D. Our new note is high D. Exactly right. Now, before we even play it, I bet we can figure out where it goes. Well, it's higher than this, obviously, so it's got to be somewhere on here. Is there a line or a space that is the letter D? Well, it's the spaces, F-A-C-E, no D there. Every good burger deserves, deserves D. Every good burger deserves. It's on the 4th line, isn't it? It is. That's a high note. It's a very high note. It's way up there. It's higher than B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 away. This is our new note, high D. Okay, now, this note is one of the easiest and also one of the trickiest to play, okay? Show me low D. Show me low D. That's all of our fingers. It's like thumb on the back, 3 and 3. That's a lot of fingers. Show me E. Show me G. Show me A. Show me B. How do we get a note higher than this? Because it seems like when we take fingers away, we end up with a higher note, and that's true. But how do we end up with a note higher than this and still hold the recorder? Well, it's a little bit of a balancing act, but our new note, high D, is played like this. Show me A. Okay, show me A. To play high D, you need to sort of set up like you're going to play A, okay? But then you need to lift 2 of these 3 fingers. The 2 you lift are your top finger, your pointer finger, and get ready, your thumb. This is high D. No fingers down here, but you're going to need your hand down here to support it because you can't hold the recorder with just 1 finger like that, okay? It's your second finger covering the second hole, no thumb. That's a high note. It's high D, okay? Now your other fingers, when you lift them up, don't move them as much as I did there. Have them around there, have them pretty close because you need to be able to switch back to your other notes. So let's try this. Let's just try our new note, high D. Try that with me. It sounds probably pretty clear. It's a pretty easy note to make a good sound on. The hard part is with your fingers, okay? So now let's try a high D, and then let's switch to B. We're going from this to this. That sounds pretty good. Let's try that. Practice that this week. Practice that new note high D. If you need a reminder of what it looks like, on the Weebly site, I've got that picture of what it looks like, okay? So you can review that at your leisure, okay? Here's your goal for next week. First of all, you can write your song that uses low D, but now I want you to practice this new note high D. I want you to actually start on high D and work your way down the whole octave to low D. Watch. Practice that. That's tricky, okay? All right, guys, a lot of stuff this week. So good luck. Have some fun making some music and practice that new note. And see you next week on Recorder Corner.
Recorder Corner is here.